Girl, you need to see this because the new angles completely changed the conversation about Jikook. First, Jimin had several members nearby, but he still chose Jungkook to entrust with his microphone in a small moment that says so much more than it seems. Then, new, higher quality angles appear, revealing details that many previously overlooked. The most interesting part comes during the breaks, where Jungkook once again demonstrates that the distance between him and Jimin never seems to last long. And just when you think you've seen it all, the famous comment about Jimin being sexy resurfaces. Stay tuned because this is just the beginning. Jimin was doing something simple, like fixing his shoelaces, but he was still keeping an eye on Jungkook. At that moment, Jimin decided to approach Jungkook and give him his microphone, gently taking his arm to let him know he needed it. Even though Namjoon was right there nearby, Jimin chose Jungkook to give him his personal microphone. It's very clear that for Jimin, Jungkook is the most important person at that moment, as he placed the microphone in his hand so he could continue with what he was doing while Jimin calmly finished fixing his shoelaces. After receiving the microphone, we see Jungkook doing something very special. He started using both microphones together to speak. It's not common to see someone using two microphones at the same time, but Jungkook did it with complete ease because Jimin gave it to him. This is a very clear sign of how they look out for each other, always sharing things and helping each other when the other needs it. It's as if they already have a way of working together where only the two of them matter, regardless of who else is standing next to them at that moment. Seeing this behavior, it's impossible not to notice that they seem like a married couple in their daily lives. Everything they do, like handing each other personal belongings or helping each other carry things to talk, shows us that their relationship is very serious and real. They don't need to say words to understand each other, because with just a gesture from Jimin and Jungkook's response when using both microphones, they make it clear that they are a close-knit couple. Thanks to these new angles and the excellent video quality, we can now clearly see what Jungkook is doing to Jimin. It turns out Jungkook was checking out Jimin's abs, touching them with a lot of confidence. He's always on the move and looking for an excuse to get closer, and this time he took advantage of their presence to touch him. He's very direct in his desire to be near Jimin, and it's clear he does it because he feels completely free to do so, demonstrating that they are a couple who always seek physical contact. After touching him, Jungkook continues to find ways to stay close and approaches him again to walk arm in arm with Jimin. This isn't something that happens just once, it's what Jungkook does all the time. He sees every chance he gets to be close to his partner. These images show us how Jimin receives this affection and lets himself be hugged, accepting Jungkook's gesture as something completely normal between them. It's so touching to see how, even with cameras around, they still try to be together and cuddle as much as possible. These beautiful videos confirm that Jikook are always together by choice. There's no doubt they're a lovely couple who enjoy physical contact all the time. Every time we see these new angles, we understand better that their relationship is constant and full of affection, because they're always looking for moments to hug or touch each other. It's clear proof that their bond is real and that, as a couple, they'll always be by each other's side, demonstrating their unity with every step they take. It's so sweet to see what happens during the show's breaks. As soon as they have a moment to rest, Jungkook makes sure to find Jimin with his eyes. Many times, while Jimin is sitting, Jungkook stands in front of him for a few seconds, staring intently and listening to everything he says. Even if there's a small distance between them, Jungkook always seems to be looking for a place to be closer, as if his body needs to be where Jimin is. It's very clear that for him, physical distance doesn't matter, because he always finds a way to connect. What's most striking is that even when they're not sitting side by side, they never stop looking for each other. Jungkook keeps turning his head to meet Jimin's gaze, and as soon as Jimin says something, Jungkook immediately leans forward to respond directly. No matter how many people are between them, they manage to create their own space of attention. It's as if distance isn't a problem for Jikook, because their minds and attention are always focused on each other, demonstrating that their bond is constant at all times. Every little gesture they make during these breaks is a sign that their relationship is very real. Jungkook can't help but be attentive to Jimin, and Jimin knows perfectly well that Jungkook is there, listening to his words. Seeing them react like this, always leaning towards each other, confirms that they have a way of communicating that only they understand. It's truly exciting to observe how, even during work breaks, they continue to demonstrate that connection between partners that we love to see, where they don't need to be physically close to know they're connected. Today we saw how Jungkook took every opportunity to get closer to Jimin as they walked. It was very direct and natural. When Jimin came towards him, Jungkook didn't hesitate for a second and ran his hand along Jimin's abdomen as they passed each other. It was a quick but very affectionate movement, demonstrating how accustomed they are to touching each other. It's the kind of gesture you only make with someone you trust deeply, and seeing Jungkook do it in front of everyone confirms that they have no problem showing their affection. The affection didn't end there, because later, as Jimin walked right in front of him, Jungkook gently ran his hand down Jimin's back again. It's incredible to see how spontaneous these movements are, because they don't seem forced, but rather come naturally as they go about their activities. It's as if their bodies know exactly where the other is, and Jungkook simply seeks to touch him or feel him close every time he passes by, making it clear that Jimin is his priority. These simple gestures prove that Jikook has a comfortable and connected relationship. They don't need to do grand things to show affection, because simply running a hand along each other's abdomen or back says so much more than any words. These are clear moments that show us how their dynamic as a couple works, always seeking physical contact and always caring for one another. Seeing these actions makes us feel that their relationship is one of the most special and genuine we can observe today. When Jimin appears on stage with that determined gaze, his confidence, and his impeccable style, it's impossible not to notice the immediate impact he has on those around him. The most interesting part of that moment was Jungkook's immediate and natural reaction. He didn't hold back and decided to voice what we were all thinking: Jimin is sexy. It was a direct, sincere observation that we could clearly hear, demonstrating that Jungkook is always the first to notice and admire Jimin's presence whenever he appears with that characteristic confidence. He doesn't feel the need to hide his opinion. Instead, he prefers to share it spontaneously, showing that his attention is completely focused on Jimin. Every time we see Jimin again with that gaze that captivates the entire audience, it's impossible not to automatically recall what Jungkook said at that moment. He was the one who put into words what many of us were thinking when we saw him, becoming, in everyone's eyes, the #1 fan of Jimin's unique style. It's very clear that Jungkook is fully aware of the effect Jimin has and has no problem acknowledging it publicly, demonstrating his complete admiration and his constant attention to every detail of Jimin's appearance and stage presence. This shows how much Jungkook values Jimin's stage presence, praising his style whenever he has the chance. Furthermore, it's fascinating and exciting to see how these kinds of interactions reinforce the idea that they are always connected, even when they aren't speaking directly or are busy with other tasks. When Jungkook makes a comment like this, it reveals that his mind is always focused on Jimin, no matter where they are. This isn't a coincidence. It's part of the ongoing dynamic between Jikook. Every time Jimin appears so confident and attractive, Jungkook is there to confirm it, making moments like this clear signs of the special attention, respect, and constant affection they share as a couple. Finally, this gesture from Jungkook shows us that their relationship is much more than friendship. By pointing out how good Jimin looks, he reveals a deep connection where they both feel free to express themselves. There are no filters in the way Jungkook values Jimin, and that's what makes this moment so memorable for all of us. It's undoubtedly further proof that they walk together, sharing a vision of each other that only a truly united couple can have. Watching Jungkook celebrate Jimin is, ultimately, seeing the most authentic side of what Jikook means to their fans. It's truly incredible to think about everything we'd miss if it weren't for the people who dedicate themselves to recording these special moments at concerts. Thanks to those cameras that always follow Jimin and Jungkook, we can see things that, if we were just looking at the stage like everyone else, we'd surely overlook. These recordings are essential because they allow us to relive their knowing glances, their laughter at something only they know, the jokes they play on each other, and all those little everyday details that show how much they care for one another. It's thanks to these videos that we can forever preserve the memories of our boys, watching them interact so naturally when they're focused on each other. In the middle of a giant stadium, packed with thousands of people and amidst all the noise and energy of a show of that magnitude, there's always someone attentive with their camera in the right place at the right time. It's as if fate makes the lens always point right where Jimin and Jungkook are sharing a special moment. Thanks to the efforts of those who record these moments, we can have all these precious memories stored in our own galleries, calmly watching how they care for and seek each other out. For all of us who love this couple, these videos are much more than just images. They are direct and clear proof that their relationship is real and that they are always there for each other, no matter how big the place where they are working is. For us, watching these videos is not just a pastime, but a way to understand how their real dynamic works. Every laugh, every friendly nudge, every touch, and every glance captured by a camera tells us a new part of what Jikook experiences in their daily lives away from the spotlight. It is incredibly moving to realize that, even though the stage is enormous, their world is reduced to what they share in that precise moment. That's why we continue to support and save each of these recordings, because they're the best way to always remember the closeness and affection that define Jimin and Jungkook as a couple, allowing us to feel like we're there, accompanying them every step of the way. At the end of the day, these fancams become the visual diary of their relationship. Every video we save is a reminder that, despite the cameras and the public, they never stop being themselves. It's fascinating to see how they manage to maintain that private space within such a public environment, and we, as fans, feel fortunate to be able to witness that evolution. We will continue to cherish each of these recordings, because every time we see Jikook interact in such an honest way, we reaffirm that what we see is real, authentic, and, above all, a relationship that deserves to be celebrated every moment. After it was revealed that Jimin reacted to BNW's slogans and uchiwas during the show, a fan shared a detail that changed everything. She recounted that, right after soundcheck, she saw a group of 4 people sitting in the front row of section WF3, and what caught her attention was that they were using the exact same BNW slogans and uchiwas. The fan decided to approach them to give them some Jikook gifts she had brought from Indonesia. It was at that precise moment that the question arose that now has all the fans talking, could I have been face to face with BNW? If this really happened as she describes, it becomes an incredibly special moment for all of us who follow this couple. It's not just the fact that Jimin saw and reacted to BNW's support, but the possibility that the people behind so many years of love, dedication, and constant support were there, experiencing the concert alongside him. Imagining that those responsible for this important movement were supporting Jimin from the front row makes us feel that years of effort have a real and very close connection to what happens on stage. Although this is still just a story shared by a fan, the mere possibility that it's true fills our hearts with a unique warmth. For those of us who love Jikook, these kinds of stories aren't just rumors, but signs that the community and the support of the fans are deeply connected to what Jimin feels and experiences in his performances. It's exciting to think that, in the middle of a packed stadium, that small encounter could have taken place between those who have supported the relationship for so long and Jimin himself, creating a bond that goes far beyond a simple screen. Furthermore, the fact that this fan gave them Jikook gifts makes everything feel much more personal. Imagining those 4 people receiving gifts that celebrate Jimin and Jungkook's union while they themselves were there supporting Jimin gives us a feeling that everything fits together beautifully. It's as if fate brought together the paths of the fans who have most supported this story with the exact moment Jimin acknowledged that affection from the stage. We're left with that beautiful possibility, because seeing how these details intertwine makes us feel part of something much bigger and more meaningful. Ultimately, these kinds of events reinforce our faith in Jimin's unconditional support for his most loyal fans. Regardless of whether it's confirmed or not, the mere fact that this possibility is even mentioned demonstrates how strong the BNW movement is and how much it means to us fans. We will continue to observe every detail, every sign, and every little story that allows us to better understand how Jikook always stays close to those who have been by their side from the beginning.